NOSFERO. Does this word not sound like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you? People always call them madhouse someplace. I hate to even think about it.
Hello, all you fine people. Here we are for the first episode of Horror at the Waffle Lodge, which is this man's brainchild.
Frightening. I can't wait, man.
How you doing, Vaughn?
Oh, man, I'm great. I've been just looking forward to this all day, to be honest. So
yeah, man, same here. Same here. We got some cool people in the chat. Let's see who we've got here. We have got Enrique Cabrera, who says first. And then I know that Micro was here like 2 days ago. So that's why there's that sentence. We've got Arthur Line. We've got Lord Ravener, Stephen Rockwood dropping links for Terror in the Trenches,
Cheers.
Volume 1. Hail to you, my friend. We are looking forward to it. And NOSFERO the Crypt Walker, another link. Great job, Stephen Rockwood. I tip my hat to you. Leg Kick 1. Let's see who else. Lord Crackhead 33, my brother from another mother, who is saying Shanth and Vaughn, hell yes. And we say hell yes as well. Sumo Thori is here. Let's see who else we've got. Past Master Dan. And if I can say that without tripping over my tongue, I have accomplished something. That one always gets me. It's a Widowmaker. Antoine Dennison. Missed good stuff. I tip my hat to you, milady. Tip my hat. We've got Chauncey Blakely here. We have got, or Blakey. I would say Chauncey Blakely. I don't know what is wrong with me. I got to get that.
Well, Blakely's more. You hear that name more often than Blakey.
I guess I do. But, you know, it's all original here. You know, what can we do? We got D-Wag in the chat, of course. Anatomy of the Mix. And let's see who else here by saying hello, hello, hello. And boom. Look at all this stuff. Look at all these fine people here. My goodness. Shadowhawk Talks is here. Hail Shanth in the chat. We toast you. Oh, my goodness. Look at all of this stuff. When is the Drag Racing Egyptian spinoff getting nose? Yeah, we're going to have some fun, man. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. Dragon Pisces, great to see you. Let's see. Oh, my God, it's jumping again. General Piggy is here. Maromi is here. Everybody is looking forward to this discussion. I knew that this was a loved movie, of course. But I did not realize, General Piggy, let me see who else we've got here. Odin is here. Good to see you, Odin. Look at all these fine people. Yeah, everybody's saying hello, hello. So
hey.
When you were talking to me about doing a show, you go, we should do a horror show. And I was like, well, what talk about movies. And I said, what movie is on your list? And you were like, The Evil Dead.
Yes, without hesitation.
That's right.
In fact, over time, I think it's become my Evil Dead 2 is probably my favorite horror movie. It was Exorcist, but I just know so Evil Dead it changed everything for me. Yeah. And I was so happy to hear you go, yep, that's what we're doing.
That's the one.
Oh, man, it's the one. A bunch of 20-something kids running around in the woods with a camera, revolutionizing film without realizing it, while bringing like slapsticks, Three Stooges to horror and somehow making it work. I don't understand it. It's just called brilliance. It's just pure brilliance. Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I mean, he's 4.5 in this, I think, is the official age. He was 4 years old, just out of swaddling clothes. But, the sad thing is he never went, he never went on to do anything else after this. It was all downhill after this film.
Oh, man, are you in luck? I have news about that.
Oh, let's have it. Let's have it.
Well, he did another one that was basically this film, but even better. Evil Dead 2.
You don't say. Hold on a second. Everything I've been reading about says. Oh, wait a minute. You're right. I think.
Where'd you find this one?
Oh, this is Trick or Treat Studios, man. This is not one of those amazing custom ones. I wish, but So this is the thing that gets me. Yeah, no human scan. Yeah, I know. I couldn't go for it. That was an add-on.
Etsy. I could only pay so much. Yeah.
Seriously, there are people making a killing making those things by hand, either literally or figuratively. But it's.
Do you have a Hellraiser box too?
No, I don't. But one of my favorite people on YouTube was showing it off, and it's awesome. Horror Monster Collectibles. I don't know if you know that guy, but he's got amazing stuff.
Oh, sweet.
He just reviewed that. Yeah. So, for me, you just hit the nail on the head about what I love about this movie. It's the same thing I love about Night of the Living Dead. It's a bunch of people who are, how do I word this? They're not connected in the traditional sense, and they're just like going, all I need, it's like American Zoetrope. All I need is a camera, a film idea, and the balls to tell a story that people wouldn't touch. And you get this. When did this one hit you?
Let's see. So Evil Dead 1 and 2 had already made it to video, and I was a little kid. I didn't see those movies until a little later when I was more like middle school, and my buddy and I could say, let's rent a movie, and walk down the hill to the shitty supermarket with their shitty little video rental aisle. And it was also the best video rental aisle. Because it was the big plasticky boxes with a beat up VHS in it, and it was all 80s horror schlock and sci-fi, like the best stuff. And they had Evil Dead 1 and 2, and we would rent those and order a pizza. And so I actually saw Evil Dead 2 first and immediately fell in love. And then saw 1, and I was like, wait a minute, this is familiar. And it was really interesting. But yeah, I was just a kid eating pizza and renting gory movies back then from the supermarket. On the other side of that wall with the videotapes, Marvel Comics and DC Comics. And it was like Jim Lee. I was getting Weapon X. I was getting like all the McFarlane stuff. I mean, it was just a glorious era, man.
These are great times, man. And what is so interesting to me, let me just see what we've got in the chat here. It's I love this one from Anton Dennison. I disavow. Let's see here. We've got
a horror show.
Exactly. That was the plan. That's right. Well, we're here to horror some comics, so too as well. So maybe that's it. But the series Ash vs. Evil Dead is surprisingly good, says Enrique. Feels modern, fresh, and also feels like it keeps the spirit of the original without stomping all over it. That can't be overstated.
These things, when you get really into them and you break it down, become a formula. And the TV show followed the formula. Like, it gave you Ash being an idiot with great one-liners, the slapstick comedy. It gave you the awesome over-the-top deaths. It gave you the genuinely scary scenes. It gave you the practical effects makeup that's awesome, that Evil Dead's beloved and known for. There's so much to that. Yeah, that was a great show, man. And the new characters they introduced are great, great additions. I just got done before doing the show. I played the game for 2 hours, the new game.
Oh, I heard it's good.
It's good, but it's scary as hell. But you're also laughing and having a great time. It's a great game. It really captures it well. Yeah.
It's so funny too because it's the legends around this movie. Jeff Watts shared his original Evil Dead movie poster a few years back. Super dope. I wish it would have been used for the VHS art, but they hired another dude instead. Those bastards. Says now have you seen the Jeff Watts poster? I have not.
I
don't think I have.
I'm curious.
Yeah. Now you guys piqued my interest.
We'll check him out. We'll check it out.
Everybody's saying hello here. Yeah. Here we go. Evil. Oh, with me? Well, here's the funny thing. I was at a party with a friend of mine growing up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. By the way, I want to point out, I did not know until a year or two ago it was filmed in Tennessee. That cracks me up.
Yeah.
And when they're talking about filming in 1981, they're like, this is, got to be honest with you. There there were segregated laundromats there, and I'm kind of like going, yeah, they were. Like I was like, they were talking about all the different, things that they were running into, different times. But the thing about it for me was that there is this belief that those things just don't happen there. So I was over at a friend of mine named John's house with a bunch of buddies, and I heard about it before I saw it. And they were, and he was out in the woods, out in this place called Soddy Daisy. It sounds about how you'd imagine. We were out there hanging out, and they were of course discussing the scene from the first one, and they were like, you're not going to believe what happened. There was this tree, which has already been mentioned 8 times, I want to point out in the chat. And they were like, there was this scene and blah, 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 all this stuff happened. And I was hearing this, and in my mind, the things they were describing, there's this Guillermo del Toro quote when he came back to Mexico, having seen the movie Alien, and he told his friends about it. And they said, impossible. Such a movie could not exist. That's how I felt when I was hearing about this. So finally, I watched, like you, I saw Evil Dead 2 because I think it was easier for that to get to the video stores. I don't know if everybody had Evil Dead 1, if it was as popular or whatever, but I did see Evil Dead 1 afterwards. And the thing about it is, even at that age, I loved seeing movies that looked like you could get together with a bunch of friends and make them that were also cool. And this is my attraction to this movie, Dawn of the Dead, even movies like El Mariachi, is very similar to my attraction to Comicsgate and doing indie comics. This is like
Maverick shit.
Yeah. You don't have to ask permission to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Story-wise.
I don't see why everyone's not like, yep, I'm Comicsgate too. Because like the freedom, the energy, the goodness that comes out of doing this with all these great artists and working together towards the common goals. It's just with the fans and making them happy. Like it's way more fun than this. I can't handle this. I'm not the type of guy who could go in the woods for months and like make movies. I can't do it. Like I can't work with a lot of people. I'm a guy I'm a writer. I'm at home. I'm solo. I'm writing my imaginative worlds. These people are amazing that they can do this. Like this is an incredible thing. And while doing it, we got this camera shot up. They were inventing new camera techniques that had never been done before. Whoops. Yeah. And like changing everything. And after a lot of people saw Evil Dead, who've grown on to be like great filmmakers, this movie inspired them to use the camera in ways they never thought of, and it made them want to make movies. It made them want to do crazy shots that had never been done because they invented that camera with the demon vision that could just keep chasing you forever, and it was the most horrific thing ever. Oh, amazing!
I love the something we do understand is I love the ingenuity that comes from limited means. Oh, yeah. Like you just think I've got to grab people's attention. Yeah, here you go. They invented the ram cam. There you go, right there. And it's the doors getting knocked open. There's even that sequence in Evil Dead 2 I always think about where I can't believe there must have been outtakes, I feel like, where he gets clotheslined by a pipe or something when he's running through all those narrow hallways. They were pushing it, and I look at this stuff and I look at this kind of work, and when I'm working on NOSFERO, I think there is, after spending a lot of time in various fields, I've never lost that maverick sort of attitude. And I live for movies like this and these stories, but you do realize like, oh wait, I can do whatever I want to do. Like I can push it more here for dramatic effect. And they were like, we've got to get eyeballs on this thing. And that's what I love is happening here. That's all we're doing is trying to get eyeballs on this stuff.
I mean, and at the same time, they would seem like a lot of kids just having fun, and the energy transferred over so well into these movies, man. Yeah. It's and I love like limited things they did that they worked with, like when he was transforming. Oh, this might have been in part 2, but he was transforming, and they injected liquid into his eye, but then they reversed the film for the movie, so it looks like he's going back to normal. His eye's going back to normal. Little creative things like that anyone can do. It's so inspirational to other creative people, You go, oh shit, I could have done that. That's great, and it looks great, it's just, The amount of like maverick attitude to me, those are the guys that invent the new things. You know, doesn't mean you all do, all mavericks do, but like someone breaks through and invents something cool like this and becomes more of a word of mouth movie. I mean, before I ever saw Evil Dead 2 or 1, all I ever heard were the stories of tree rape and like the hand that wouldn't die, and everybody's laughing their asses off at it.
and it's what's funny about the tree sequences is that now when I see the tree sequence, and this is true for almost every shot in this movie, I go, okay, so that's just in reverse. Oh, that's so smart.
So clever.
You take the tree and you wrap the little things around it, then you just pull them off and then reverse it. And I get so my buddy and I, who he does a lot of stuff in Unreal and a lot of 3D work, I sent him the intro opening with the Leatherface in the doorway and the Ash coming in from Evil Dead 2 into the the shed. And I said to him, I go, tell me how I did this. And he just broke it down for me. He was like, so that was a PNG overlay. And what'd you crop it in? I said, I cropped it in Handbrake. It was like, and, of course. And that's the thing I love about it is that you look at the trailer for Terror in the Trenches. And I love that there's someone else who's the same kind of pulp horror monster maniac. Like Monster MD, man. I love Terror in the Trenches. I've been falling more and more in love with Monster MD because of you. Because it's just like, I feel like you've got characters who have crypts where they do that. Like this is the greatest kind of thing to be sharing, in something. Like it's so cool. And I love
hell
it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no wonder we're doing this show, right? So what were you asking?
Totally, man. I look at these guys and like, look at that. Like, I love the first Book of the Dead, man. This is the thing too, right? Right now, somebody is watching this and we're already doing some cool stuff. Dying Days of YouTube's video for Roach Balls is amazing. All of the animation stuff and
your NOSFERO's trailer. I don't think I'd seen that trailer before. Or something, or maybe I didn't catch it with the sound, but I mean that was an incredible trailer you made, man.
Thank you, man. I
didn't know he was raised by a werewolf.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, it was, and I was laughing. I said, if we get to 50K, I'll name him after John Malin. That's what I told people. I said, that'll happen.
Yeah, call him Malin. Yeah,
there's love for Vaughn in the show, always.
And
we're sitting here, and so many amazing artists. Speaking of, but I do think that Comicsgate is very much just the beginning of this whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of its comics now, but I think there are going to be filmmakers who go, wow, I can do work here. And there's a group of artists. Like, I don't know about you, but I would imagine that there are images from this that might get it pulled for terms of service on Indiegogo. Like it's like the way that people are going after things. But you look at this, like, these guys were not any different except for their creativity, their ingenuity, and doing it, which can't be overstated. Like I always
just do it.
Yeah.
Stop worrying. Stop worrying that it's going to suck. Who cares? That at least you did. And that's one step up away from sucking on the next one. And then the next one is a little less suck at the next one. And then before you know it, wow, holy shit. You're making something that's gold, I mean, why do you think the difference between Evil Dead 1 and 2 is evident? That they learned their tricks and they upgraded their shit. And like, that's how you should approach it, man. I love that they did that.
They
kind of did the same movie.
Yeah, they did. They
better.
They were like, we can perfect this. We can, or we can reach a big audience. And what's so amazing to me is, and I mean, I try not to be the most, the hell have I got? I've got so many ball caps around me. They're just raining ball caps all the time. But this is the thing. It's like I've got my Battle Brick Road one. They're like falling all over the place. But I look at stuff like this and I think that, what we can do with just the off-the-shelf, very basic technology now, we can tell stories. And what they did that was so cool is it had so many elements of Night of the Living Dead. We're out in this abandoned house and we're being beset upon by all these things, but with the camera side view, the natural element of it, and then just bringing in, which is genius, the H.P. Lovecraft Necronomicon thing. It's so perfect how they put that stuff together.
It's like the greatest drive-in movie ever made, you know,
Yes.
to my opinion. Like it had all the elements of like that great 80s slasher horror, but it had something none of the other ones had.
Yeah.
A badass final guy hero who just steps
Mhm.
up and starts trashing shit. That's part of the fun of Evil Dead, in my opinion. When they made the remake, I went to the
Yeah.
theaters. I enjoyed screaming
Yeah.
with the audience, whatever, getting into it. But it wasn't the same without that, like, good, normal guy, Ashley,
Mhm.
who's like losing his mind slowly as he gets destroyed more and more by this thing, as this thing destroys his life and everyone he loves. And
I love this
and he becomes this
cute shot
badass
of
hero.
Sam.
Yeah, look at him. What a kid, just a kid. It's amazing.
I know. He's driving with the future tree victim down the highway.
If she only knew.
Yeah, if she only knew what she was getting into, you know.
He's got a straw coming out of that foot.
Yeah. That's the pencil. Remember the pencil stab that she gets?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
classic.
you know, these guys, and this is really the thing I love about it, you know. Yeah, 1 is horror, 2 is splatastic, and 3 is sword and sorcery. Right on. Yeah, my
and
son.
all are comedy. Brilliant comedy.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah, and that was the thing about it too, which is, you know, we had seen some pretty good special effects by 1981, but there's something about the squirm things, like the pencil, like it's something that is so visceral that you can relate to. It's not like, you know, seeing somebody, you know, you see the Thing or a movie like that, which is incredible. But, you know, you kind of you go, wow, that's terrifying. But it's like, man, a pencil right at the Achilles tendon, man. That was some rough stuff. And
ouchie.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was incredibly realistic, but your mind took the next step there. You know, it was.
Yeah,
oof.
It wasn't about that. It was about the passion and the insanity of it all, and the horror. It was like horror. It was perfect horror mixed with comedy. I mean, it was this interesting flavor that no one had really seen. Do you know what I've always thought about Ash that made him interesting too? Is, well, he starts off like he's just a regular guy with a girlfriend going to get laid in a cabin for the weekend. But now the Ash we know is like this, like he always drops good one-liners and is like, you know, a killer of deadites, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I wonder if the character that he plays, like with the one-liners, is just him, like, I don't know, like he's already lost his mind. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like the Ash that we know that's and he is a badass. He's a hero. I really like him and everything. I live for the one-liners, man. They're classic.
Yeah.
But like, but I always wonder, like, if he puts on that attitude because if he really like stopped and thought about all the horror that he's been through, he would lose it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I like that about him. It makes him. He's just like, man, I'm a badass. I'm gonna take you out, and it might be a little funny during it.
The best thing from Bruce Campbell was talking about how so much of the remaking of different shots were that different people, you know, had different rights to the film. And he said if there was people were like, so how should people watch this? He goes, well, if it was, you know, I can't do Bruce Campbell, but you know, well, if it was up to me, you know,
yeah.
He's like, well, if it was up to me, I would tell people watch the first movie up until Ash is by himself, then start the second movie after that when the couple comes, you know, with the pages of the book, and then watch that through to Army of Darkness. And I thought, wow, that's a really interesting idea. He goes, because we wouldn't have even made that bit if it wasn't for the fact we couldn't get the rights, you know, to include that stuff in the movie. It was really interesting when they were talking about how every time they had to refilm the previous sequence for the movie, they couldn't get the rights for all of the different stuff. And you're right, there's something great about Ash. Like, he is really fits his name in this. And then his name becomes something else as time goes on. But he's a very sweet guy. You know, he's just like going away to the cabin. He's not even driving the car. Like, he's just like he's hanging out along for the ride. Yeah.
Hapless guy.
I mean, he looks 5, and there you go. Yeah. You know, you don't need a mansion to make, you know, a great horror movie. You don't need everybody I know, if you drive far enough out, you could find a great location for something to happen. Heck, it could be in your house if you film it right. But that house is iconic. Yeah, Paranormal Activity. Perfect.
Filmed in the filmmaker's house, his own house. Dude, this Do you know he only sold that movie to Spielberg for like 900,000? He didn't get like millions out of it.
Are you serious?
Spielberg
No, I
put
didn't
it.
know that.
Then Spielberg put it in theaters and made like 800 million or something.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my
I mean,
God.
he still got to have a career anyway. But
Yeah,
this cabin is iconic to where like you can buy an Evil Dead sweater where someone's knitted the cabin in, and you can tell that's the cabin from Evil Dead, not just a random cabin. Like it itself like attacks you. You know, it's part of the beauty of Evil Dead. Everything can attack you.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. It probably won't. But I'm going to try to do a camera zoom on this. But the cabin in Art Book 2 that's at the end of the story is the cabin from Evil Dead 2. So you can see, like, you know, all of the little notes there. So I make references, including the Book of the Dead that's in NOSFERO, the comic. There's so many references to this because it's got this vitality to it. I feel like you've got, of all the people, of all the creators in Comicsgate, you have the most Sam Raimi directorial sense in your stuff. There's like, when I read that stuff, the action, the humor, and the heart in there that you do, and just the brutal nature of it is so freaking amazing. And
man.
Does that, I mean, is that a big influence? Like, because I'm a big Coen Brothers fan. I'm a big Sam Raimi fan, you know.
Yeah, when the Evil Dead came out, and so did Raising Arizona by the Coen brothers, right? Mm-hmm. Those movies changed me as the way I saw movies. I didn't know they could be like that with those crazy camera shots zooming in and whoom, and like, and it did inspire me. These were some of the movies that made me want to make movies. I spent a lot of my life growing up thinking someday I want to make movies, you know. Mm-hmm. I made a few little movies here and there, but nothing too much. And I wrote scripts and stuff. But I mean, when it comes to brutality, yes, these were big influences. I look at my comics as needing to really show the brutality of the world while being, you know, funny in some parts, but like it needs to, you know, it needs to be unflinching about it. So yeah, man, like gore like this from the 80s, huge influence.
Well, you know, but it's even more than that too for me. Like when I'm thinking about your work, is that I care about your characters, and your characters like in this get fucked up, man. Like your characters go through some stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's what I liked about you know, because see, my Coen Brothers movie was funny enough that Sam Raimi has a cameo in, but she probably has one in every one of them. But I love Miller's Crossing. But
that's a great movie, man.
Love that movie, man. Love that movie. Yeah. And the thing about it is that, you know, when I'm watching your characters in Monster MD get put through the ringer, I mean, look, when his best friend in this movie, or one of the sole surviving guys, you know, is just messed up. He gets attacked when he goes outside the house. He's just laying on the couch. He's like, come on, man, hang in there. The guy is like, you know, there's probably no coming back from that. Yeah. But so you're empathizing with this character who is just completely messed up. And I was thinking to myself when I was watching it, it's not like, with all due respect to everyone involved in the movie, it is not like it's the greatest acting I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay. But I cared about all of these characters. There was so much empathy for these characters when I was watching. I was like, no, guys, he's gone to the wrong house.
Don't go in there. Yeah, it's true. You're wondering who's going to go next. You wonder who's going to suddenly randomly be possessed next. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's horrific, and it's somehow hilarious. I mean, it's B-movie acting. It's over the top as hell. And yet, I mean, compared to other horror movies, I thought it was scarier in a lot of ways, man, with how just in your face it was. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it played up the comedy and the cartoonishness. Remember when the corpse of his girlfriend dances? And
oh man, that was rough. Yeah.
Hello, lover.
The music to it too. No, we got two people who love Miller's Crossing, your 80s made consumer. Don't you worry, you know. Yeah,
two in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You know, what is it? The first one puts him down. Then you put one in his brain.
One in his brain. You got to put one in his brain, and then he's dead.
And that's the thing, too. Bruce Campbell's dad took out a loan on his house just to get this movie funded. Yeah, Bruce has been...
That's amazing.
And Sam have been doing this. It's like... one of the things I've been doing as I look at this movie and I think about this movie has been, I've been looking at certain comics. One of them I was looking at was the original Ninja Turtles and thinking about how little money, but a lot of money it was back then to get that book started that became a phenomenon, that first issue. Then I looked at the first short story of Hellboy and I said, in this many pages, they introduced this character, this like 8-page backup in Next Men, I think it was. And I look at this stuff and I go, Sam Raimi's career starts here. Starts with this group of people in this cabin. And I'm sure everybody who does an indie film, you know, tells their cast, this is going to be a thing. But how many casts, when they're freezing in this cabin in Tennessee and whatever, you know, temperature or season it was, think I'm going to be going to conventions, signing autographs and be paid to go to conventions till I die because people love this movie I made in Tennessee in the backwoods all those years ago. Unbelievable. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of cult films, when people talk about them, even what is it? Fred Decker, director of Monster Squad, said, I don't really know what a cult movie is. And I'm just like, you made one, buddy. It's called Monster Squad, but okay. But like, when you say that, I would say to someone who says that, well, what about Evil Dead? Like, that didn't get that popular in the theaters. Yeah. And I don't think even Army of Darkness did that well in theaters. But damn, if my friends and I weren't watching those over and over again at home on VHS, like nonstop, quoting it. I mean, the character of Ash was when I saw Army of Darkness for the first time, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. This is great. Like, he's the best, man. Like,
we quoted those movies, you know, it was like it's a language. I was saying to someone the other day that I fear sometimes that as age, you know, slowly gets us, that we just are going to descend. All the men I know are just going to be quoting movie quotes at each other. Like that's the final stage before we slip away. You know, it's like just a string of movie quotes. What's up, James Hayes? Good to see you, my friend, too. Let's see, Vaughn and fine folks here in the chat. I hope you're having a great night. We are, and you are always bringing the positivity. We appreciate it, man. If you're going to do horror, you have to get the audience to believe that the worst is about to happen. Well, I think this is a great image to have paused on for that. But I have to be honest with you.
Non-consensual.
Yeah, non-consensual tree.
When trees hug back.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't a backup. It was in the middle of Next Men 22. Thank you, Stephen. For bringing the facts. Cool. Yeah. And so I have, I recently just got the artisan edition of Hellboy, which, speaking of a Lovecraft influence in something, and I was going through it, and the thing that I kept going back to is Mignola's style is such a iconic, everybody knows it kind of style. You know, everybody knows what his work looks like. Let's see if I can find it. But you go back to those first issues. Is it all the way back here on the back? Hang on a second here.
Like if you look back at original Goon comics, like the first Goon versus what the Goon looks like now, I mean, he's evolved and looks completely different. The art style's different, everything. It's amazing.
This is dead air is happening.
It was just 8 pages. Is that for real? Was he just doing it just to kind of introduce the people to this character?
He was just introducing the character. Yeah, they all announced what they were going to do. So this was the one page. Hang on a second. Let me switch. I'm going to remove this for a second so I can show this. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun. I love that. But this is something I would love to see us do more of. But this was the one page. Turn this light on. Oh. This was the one page introductory story to Hellboy right there. It was just a 1-page ad. And in that one page, you got practically the gist of Hellboy, right? And then in right after that in here, I think they've got, somewhere in here, they've got the first story of Hellboy, and it was, legit 8 pages, him fighting this boar, not boar, sorry, this giant dog. And he's like, was this really Anubis? And I remember reading this thing, and you can see, I think, here it is. John Byrne did the dialogue for it, if I'm not mistaken. Hellboy promo is what it's called. And that's page 1 and 2 right there. And you can see the gigantic dog at the gas station. It's a real simple beat 'em up story, as is often the case. And then, this can't be possible. Wait, hold on a second. 1, I'm sorry. I must.
No, you're
I
good,
feel like
man.
I'm Inigo Montoya right now. I must know. So yeah, I think it was 4 pages. I'm sorry, my bad. 4 pages.
Oh, okay.
A fight scene, an explosion, and
Mike
Hellboy paranormal investigator. Boom.
That's fun.
And
yeah, fun.
that
fun
is
intro.
the stuff that gets us thinking in terms of the creativity. Like, what can we do? And, when you see stuff like this, I don't know about these movies. Hey, what's up, Vero? Good to see you, my friend. I don't know about these movies. And no worries about being late. It's, as long as you're here,
good.
that's all that matters. And I heard about it because they go, there's this girl and she gets, attacked by a tree, dare I say, using a word YouTube frowns upon. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, being kind of almost, because I was pretty young when I heard that, I was thinking, I was almost afraid of the movie. Like, what else am I going to see? Like, that's terrifying.
It gave it that infamous thing where you wanted to see it, but you didn't know if you should.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Talk about marketing.
It is. Yeah. And then you like, again, I go back to that Del Toro quote, right? It's like, such a movie could not exist. Like, that's the thing I always think about when I'm writing NOSFERO, and when I'm looking at Monster MD, I'm thinking, where do you get a chance to do outlaw stuff? And I heard this thing. It was a conversation between, I think, Jordan Peterson and somebody else, which is how it usually feels. But he was talking to somebody, and someone said, it might have been Dave Rubin, I'm not sure. And he said, how can we get the artists to do this, like, to be brave again? Like, what do we need to do? Like, what outside force needs to happen? I was like, that's not how it works. Haven't you guys seen what happens when your confidence and your daring comes from outside forces? You just need to not stomp down the interesting artists. And what I would say is, if you want to know what people need to do to get interesting artwork like this out there, look to this chat. These are the people who are doing it. It's not some administrative bureaucrat. It's the fans going, dude, have you heard about this movie called The Evil Dead? No, what's it about?
Hey, the fans, the patrons, the people who care, the people who put their money where their mouth is. I mean, okay, how did the Medicis change art forever? They funded it. And people are all conservatives are acting all confused, like, where are our artists? Okay, first of all, look for us. We're all over the place. It's the internet. You should be able to find us, even though Twitter does kind of hide the hell out of us, let's be honest. And it does. And two, start looking into ways to fund good artists that you think are really worthy of it, and help them get out there, help them get work, help make them an exciting thing. Do interviews with them. I mean, give them help them get share your audience with them. And you will see the culture shift over, because all it takes is one good story that, like, breaks all the rules to make Hollywood, and makes a lot of money all of a sudden, to make Hollywood turn its head and go, yoinks, what is that? We should be doing that. Remember when Ninja Turtles wasn't accepted by Hollywood? It was at one time the most highest grossing independent film of all time, because everyone laughed them out of the room. And look at how much money they made off that movie, man. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, they
broke all the rules by doing that.
Yeah. They were just waiting till they could buy it. You know what I mean? I mean, they're just biding their time. I mean, like, guys, when you're looking at this, the makeup effects in this stuff is like old horror posters, all that stuff, but it's not like it is The Walking Dead, or even what they would do in the very next film. And even then they were on a shoestring. This was a movie where people were reaching for things. But I would say this is that, where are those visuals that just grab the audience? When we're talking behind the scenes, when you guys are here in the chat and we're brainstorming ideas, I'm always like going, what can I do? Like, what, we should do this. We should try this. What if you cross this kind of movie with this kind of movie? What if you took this kind of story and crossed it with this? And, that stuff's not going to happen by committee, but this idea that, that for an artist to do innovative stuff, you need to reduce risk is bizarre to me. Because when you step into CG and when you step into this fray, there is so much stuff you have to be responsible for. And when you guys are asking us, like, we love horror movies. I've seen so many T-shirts. Let's talk about T-shirts for a second here, okay?
All right.
Vaughn has all the cool T-shirts at his house. And that's why I don't have cool T-shirts, because Vaughn bought them all in the United States.
I have been told this, yeah.
Yeah, well, but it's like the reason why so many of us gravitate towards the horror genre, and what this is, you want to talk about the promise of the premise, man. This movie is like, I will give you what you expect from an indie horror movie. Like, this is what it is, you know? And it's so good.
It kind of invented it, because no one had seen indie do something like so much with so little.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what was so amazing about it. It was there. I mean, look at how they just do, like, this is a basic makeup we're looking at, but look at what they did with the lighting. That's it. It was one light going up, classic underlit for the horror effect, and you get something unforgettable, something that shocks audiences, makes them scream, makes them laugh. Wasn't it Ted Raimi that was the big fat lady in the makeup? Was that in part 2?
Yeah, that's in part 2. Yeah, he was he was and this was the other thing about it too, is that they did so many different movies where he was in the movie. Like in Darkman, he's the guy who gets held out of the sewer lid. And even we were talking about Van Damme's Hard Target on our show, the show we do over on Gabe's channel. Sam Raimi was there as a backup director for John Woo because they didn't trust him. And he was like, this guy knows what he's doing. Let him do what he's doing. But his brother is in Hard Target because Sam Raimi and him were down there helping. So he's like, this one street. So Sam Raimi has done more behind the scenes to help creators and to get things off the ground than probably we see. Because he's just a very, he loves film. And I love, well, Dawn of the Dead did a lot with a little too. We will talk about the original Dawn of the Dead at some point. I have that on Blu-ray. I love that movie.
I love that movie too, but like even to this day, like the man himself, the makeup artist behind it, is like, we could have done better.
Definitely.
He laments the blue pancake shit. Like, I get it.
Yeah, he does. I know. Yeah,
it's still a great movie. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, it's like maybe might be my favorite one. But it's, I mean, you're right though. They did a little with a lot, and they had that orange blood, like they had. I forgot who gave them the like formula.
Pure grade Hammer horror neon cad red blood, right?
Yeah.
And this is the thing too. I gotta say this though. You were saying I can't imagine going out and making a film. I gotta do my comics. I know you're a drawer. I know you're a writer. I know you appreciate art. But whenever you talk to Vaughn about your artwork, he talks like a director. And it's probably because of your own art background, but as a writer, you are definitely an artist writer. And you can see that in your work. And I think, when you talk about this movie, what are the things that for you that you saw in this that stuck with you, that you were like, that are just influential on your work? Like, what from this movie, out of curiosity? Was there a big takeaway from it?
Oh man, the madness that it captures, that keeps this constant tension running no matter what's going on, because anything could happen. It explored madness in a funny and cheesy way, and yet like a more truthful way than a lot of movies. Like watching Ash lose his mind is a big scene in this movie. No dialogue. Like it didn't need it. Like he's losing his mind and we're getting all these visuals. I don't know. I love that. I think the energy of it, the fast like intensity of it is really like I took that away from it, man. Because it's more fun if the creatures are just reaching out, and they might, that's one thing. In Evil Dead, like they smack you and you fly across the room. Yep. It's the most, it's like they brought this type of more exaggerated fighting, which is like, that's in all my books. I mean, there's a lot of intense, over the top action that has a lot of exaggeration to it. That's part of the fun. Man. I also just like the fact that they found that balance of horror and comedy that I love. That's one of the things from the 80s. And this movie's one of them that has imbued me, What about you, man? What are your takeaways?
For me, it's the Pandora's box aspect of it. And that Pandora's box can be lurking anywhere, even in this shack in the middle of nowhere. because
Yeah.
there's this thing from my youth. Like we talk about, people are like, what's this obsession? Why call the show like the Waffle Lodge? Like, what's the deal with this? I used to hang out at the Waffle House on Brainerd Road in Chattanooga, Tennessee when I was a kid coming up. And something could always happen there. You could have someone sit down at your booth and have a conversation that you could not get out of. You could have any number of things happen, right? And so the fact that, the funniest thing about all this stuff is that where it's at, where the big things happen, are always in Madison Square Garden, or they're always, in the middle of the biggest scene in the world. And what Lovecraft did so well, and it's funny, I hadn't even read Lovecraft, didn't know a thing until I came up to Providence for college. And then I learned, wait, he's from here? It's just a cascading series of Tennessee to Rhode Island. But I remember reading that stuff and going, this is exactly how horror feels to me. You go to this cabin, and I just love the part, find this book, what the heck is this? And then you foolishly hit play. And it says, I awakened the evil by saying, you're like, he's saying it. Turn it off. And you can even hear people going, turn it off. And nobody turns it off. That's how you get into this stuff. It's like, it's that comedy of errors. And then that the transcendent bigness and truth of horror can happen in the most mundane settings with the most mundane people. And it forces them to elevate themselves or be devoured. And Ash is that dude.
Yep. And he has to kill his girlfriend,
dude.
Like he has to. It's insane. Like it never ends. I think that is the thing I love the most about Evil Dead's was we were watching a hero slash back instead of just run for it, and we were watching a hero slash back with a chainsaw. I mean, it doesn't get cooler than that,
This is the interesting thing about it too, right? Because it plays upon a very, absolutely, man. It plays upon this very funny thing that people don't get, which is this intense caretaker vibe in most guys when they see a lady in trouble. And man, does that movie mess with you. Because she's like, don't do it, baby. And then, rah! And it's every time. He falls for it.
Lover.
Yeah. I mean, and and then, she ends up, for those of you guys who haven't seen the movie, she ends up writing this article about Ash in the Washington Post. No, sorry, that was a different demon from hell. But this is the thing
Evil
about
Dead.
the casting in this, right? Because they're regular people, just like any of us to me. And that's the thing that got me about it.
Yeah. It's
like
teenagers trying to get laid in a cabin in the woods in the 80s.
Certainly did not deserve to turn into demons. We're like, oh, Antoine Dennison, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Notice how all the classic comics and films told their story in one go. So true. Now I see a lot of media using the first installment as setup for future work. Yeah, that is very true.
I love finishing a story and having that be a satisfying thing for readers. It satisfies me too. I don't like to, I like the idea of releasing a lot of books that are all just one different story. And they're all like around 100, 200 pages and done. And you're done. Maybe someday we'll get there.
But you know what's so funny is too with like, and maybe I'm, maybe I'm just living in Monster MD right now. But one thing that you and I have in common that is a major aspect of this first and the second movie, not so much with Army of Darkness, is that Ash is romantic. Like he's at the end of this movie, the way that he's able to save himself is by using this little locket necklace that he gets for her, like Indiana Jones, to try to capture the book so he can drop in the fire.
Great stuff.
Our boy Eric Weathers is here. I just discovered a screw stuck in my car's tire. How's your day going? Hey, at least it wasn't a pencil in your ankle like in the Evil Dead, Eric. But we're doing well, and congratulations on almost being to 100K on Battle Brick Road, man.
Congrats.
Outstanding.
You're almost there, buddy. Get the Phillips head for your tire. I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah. Do it. Yeah, absolutely, man.
I hate it. I had to get a nail patched recently. He knows all the pillow talk, baby.
Yeah, it's so funny too because bro, there you go, Battle Brick Road. There you go, man. We're all getting our books. Eric Weathers, so you were screwed. Yeah, man. It's one of those things. Oh gosh, a lady crashed me, and I had to put the car in the shop. Wait, a lady crashed into me, and I had to put it in the shop tomorrow for 9 days. Oof, man. You know, it's look at this. The love for Battle Brick Road, man. People love it, guys. If you haven't got your copy of Battle Brick Road, make it happen.
Yeah.
And so
be part of the 100K finale.
Yeah, it's gonna be big, man. It's gonna be such a big. For me, I was telling my wife, I'm like, checking it every morning. And she goes, yeah. I said, I know these guys. Yeah, I mean, but it's like we're like brothers in creativity.
I know. I check everyone.
I know. It's like, is everybody doing well? Guys, and that's the thing. I'm sure you guys do it too, and we appreciate you for it. It's when I miss somebody saying in the chat, like, oh, I backed your book. I go back and watch the stream, but I'm like, I gotta go tell that person thank you. That was awesome. And
man. Every huge interaction with a fan is important. Every single
those things changed my life, man. The creators who took the time. Yeah, dude. Seriously, this is like when your young, beautiful girl turns into Tammy Faye Baker.
It's when she gets a TikTok. That's what this is. I got a TikTok. Me. Well, she's doing makeup tutorials apparently. Failing.
Dude, I'm telling you, this image scared the hell out of me when I watched this the first time, man. It's like I was like, get me out of here. And the way that she's talking to him, and you're like, and the thing that got me is he's dealing with all the different stuff in the room, and she's just sitting there going on, not doing anything. You're like, stop.
Laughing, singing songs. Part of the madness. It's the madness of it all. It's insane for her to do that. It makes him more insane. It's amazing. Those things that they did they were so clever. I love that. How did they make it so scary and so funny at the same time? She looks ridiculous, and yet I am horrified. You know what these are, though? What's interesting? I've never seen possessions that were so fast and furious in a movie before. You're just suddenly possessed and destroying everybody in this movie. It's great. That was cool that they did that. I wonder where they got that from. They've always seemed like they liked possession in their movies, even in Drag Me to Hell, stuff like that. Yeah, seance action.
Oh, I mean, it's so funny because you would think that, and maybe that's just the way it is, but people always try. Yeah, guys, tear in the trenches. If you want to get on the old Von Klaus train, check that thing out. It'll blow your mind. It's so funny, man. I just wish I wasn't so torn between all your properties. You and Phil are driving me up the wall with that because you guys keep creating a lot of properties, and I'm like, this is my favorite. No, I think this is my favorite. No, I think this is my favorite. And I love this stuff, man. It's
thanks, buddy. Yeah.
It's too, I mean, and I guess that was the thing that I was going to say. You have a lot of horror in your books, and people get messed up as far as I've seen in Monster MD. But the thing is, there is this sweetness by the way that you write the romantic characters in your stories. Yeah. Very similar to this, man. Where does that come from? Was that something that you liked in this flick?
I'm just a sensitive soul, Sean.
You are a sensitive soul, man.
I'm way too sensitive, and I can't turn it off. That's just how I am genetically, and I have to just use it to make good stories. Yeah, I feel it, and I notice way too much, and I use it to try to make. And I've always had a romantic flair since I was a kid, like finding the one, all that good shit with the ladies. I love the ladies, and I think I you know what I miss, Shanth? That's part of why I like doing this with my work. I miss just a good old fashioned story where the guy and the girl end up together at the end, and it's charming and funny, and there's roll credits. Like a lot of when I was in film school, everyone was like thought that was hokey or stupid or whatever, and they just wanted to make Fight Club or whatever. Yeah, and I was just like, dude. They end up together at the end of Fight Club too, so fuck off. But I have a romantic side.
Well, that's the thing though too. When I'm looking at this, and I look at this sequence, like God, one of the scariest parts of this movie. That's awesome. that they you cannot lose. This the person you chain in the cellar, And I cannot stand, like, you want to talk about messing with your mind. I could never stand how the characters were able to change back into their former selves randomly, like these demonic possessions were able to mess with you.
Oh, please don't kill me.
Oh,
I love you.
Oh, it's terrible. Because
Yeah.
I used to talk to people about that, about, you know, that as being one of the big keys to storytelling. He doesn't want to kill these people, but you get this, like, you get to a certain point where you're like, wouldn't it be easy if you just got rid of these people? And then you think, no, but he's a real character. Like, he can't do that. He was just driving in with these guys. Like, this is one of the great shots right there. Like, we see all this. This is what we started with. Like, let's not forget.
Cotton sweaters and titties. And that's his sister riding with him. Yeah, man. He's there with family, so it's close. You know, this is messed up. And they bring back his sister in the TV show, and it's totally amazing and horrific.
Yeah. Oh, really? Nice.
Did you see that? Did you see the show?
No, I haven't seen the show yet. No, I've got to.
Oh, buddy, you will love it. I would love to talk with you about that sometime in another venture. But yeah, this they bring her back in a really cool way. But yeah, this, you're right. It's soft cotton sweaters and let's lose our virginity for the weekend. And it turns into him burying sawed up body parts in the woods and trees not getting consent and all kinds of horrors. Man.
Yeah, he's like this just takes on such an air of foreboding. You know,
like I said, that's the perfect drive-in movie, in my opinion.
It is.
I went to a double feature at my drive-in that showed Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2 back to back, and it was amazing. It was the best.
I mean, that's the thing for me too. You know, the movie watch parties and all of that stuff. And Metal Movies agrees with you. I did see the first episode of it. I do have to say, and I do want to watch it. The thing is that it was at the time that I was watching the Evil Dead movies with my son. He was a little young for that show, just a bit. Now I'm not worried at all, but I think we're going to do a marathon because I couldn't bring myself to watch it. You know what I mean? Without him, because we watched
of course,
movies, and I always say to him what I used to say to my students, what I say to anybody who's watching this stuff. My friend Michael, who's lives in Oklahoma, makes Star Trek fan films that are incredible. What him and his friends do, like the with CGI, and it's all beautiful. And I'm always telling him, I'm like, he loves horror. He introduced me to Hammer horror movies, and I'm like going, man, you got to make that Evil Dead. You've got the tech. You know how to do it. You know how to shoot a film. And I see stuff like this, and I just want you guys to realize that when people go, man, and they scrounged up this much money so that they could afford to make their art, and you wonder who those magical people are who do help artists do that. It's you guys in the chat. Yep. You guys make this possible. I cannot buy paintbrushes and board and illustrate this stuff without, like, I don't have a tree in my backyard, you know, that makes
my paintbrush tree. Yeah.
Exactly, right. You know,
I get it.
And it's you were talking about the same thing when we were talking about, the funding. Like, you're paying artists, colorists, you're putting all this stuff together. You're writing these projects.
I just paid Eric for lettering, man. We're starting letter. We're gonna finish our book sooner than later. You guys better get in on the trenches.
So excited, man!
It's gonna be awesome.
Excited. I gotta say, I missed Monster MD, by the way.
Yeah,
and I need to PayPal you some money and get a copy of that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, do you want a copy from the campaign or?
Yeah, I want wait, is it available on the campaign?
I have it as an add-on. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's done then. I'll take care of it. I didn't know that. God, I tell you. So this is how dumb I am. People, listen. I'm going to let me first get to this Canadian super chat from my brother, Stephen Rockwood Drawing. I bow to you. Double tip my hat. Buy yourself something pretty. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen Rockwood. And I will buy something to help paint something pretty for you guys. I promise.
Creating beauty.
You know, I will say this. The effects in this movie, the early demonic possession, and thank you, Stephen Rockwood. I appreciate you guys. The super chats do a lot for us. When I look at this, the effects go to another level once they get to this point. This is some creepy stuff right here, man. This is just like threw her in the fire, and oh man.
Yeah, and it's part of the madness. You mutilate the people you love, try to defend yourself, and they just keep coming after you.
They do not stop.
singing songs, saying personal things that only they know, that now the demons know and use to mess with you. I mean, these movies are unrelenting in all the best ways.
So for those of you guys who wonder what my one of my favorite videos I've ever done for Ethan was, and it does relate to this, is the pan from Evil Dead 2 over to Cecil going, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word," from Evil Dead 2. Like, I was like, dude, it is some seriously scary stuff. Yeah, at the end of the day, they seem to be subverting it. Yeah, this is what it is, man. It's like we keep doing this stuff. Hail the Lucid Painted Death guys. But I was so embarrassed when I looked at Phil's campaign. I go, "Phil, I want to get Lost Pages 1," and he goes, "Oh, it's on there as an add-on." And because of the way, like, my vision, man, I'm telling you, I look at those little pictures, I couldn't see the plus 1 and 2, and so now I'm like, done, because it's awesome. Like, you sent me the PDF for me to use as reference for a thing. And the thing about it is that I'm one of those people where I gotta have the book. I don't know if you're like a book fanatic like I am.
Oh, if I love it, I want the book. Of course,
have the book,
man.
Yeah,
well, that's what it's all about. Look at this. I mean, you can see my bookshelf. I mean, this is
just totally
one, or a couple of them I have going on here. Yeah, man. It's a special thing to have the book. See if I
can pan over to this.
It's all about
across the way. That is my bookshelf right there. So there's the sofa, and then there's the wall of Mobius books and Dave Stevens. You can see facing out there. The Dave
how do you
Stevens
feel when you stand before your library? Does it feel accomplished?
Joyous.
Feel good?
That's
joyous?
That's how I want to go. That thing comes down on me.
Right.
That
and
is that's my goal.
Joy.
Because I've got my short box over there that's all my Comicsgate stuff, and I need to have I need to have my brother's stuff in there, man. And it's like my first Vaughn books are going to be Terror and now Monster MD. When I get those, I gotta have them. It's got to happen. Yeah, the scene before Shanth dies. Exactly. That's right. That's the look up, man. Yeah, man.
Your throat.
Yeah, there's some good, and you've got some characters there too as well. CG Vacation, but look at that was the heartbreaking one for me right there, man.
When he suddenly turns into that.
Yes.
Yeah,
dude.
I love how the makeup crew just went nuts. I just love it. It was like, screw it, blood everywhere. Make it come out of his mouth. Let's go. Yeah, that was creepy. Yeah, it made you feel like, when is Ash gonna get possessed? Like, when's his time coming? This thing it's gonna get him at some point.
Yeah,
and it kind of does.
If hope is oxygen going into a room, this movie slowly turns the hope oxygen down on you. Like every step, you're like, once this thing gets near you, you can't be saved because the creativity.
It defies the way the formula we were used to, the rhythm of a lot of the 80s horror films back then. When do we all break up and separate? And when do we have our sex scene? None of that's really happening here. Instead, it's like there's like the subplot with like the girl with the rednecks coming to the cabin and everything.
Yeah.
But there's the main plot of just like a cabin of hell, like you're in hell and you can't get away and you're having to board everything up. Everything's coming to kill you. Your friends are possessed.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy. People are getting pulled into the woods.
Yeah, I used to. Did you ever make movies? Were you ever inspired by this stuff to make, like when you were a kid, like camcorder movies and things like that?
I made some Star Wars fan films with camcorders as a kid.
There you go. The truth comes.
Yeah.
I made Child's Play fan films. So
Child's Play fan films?
Yes. I don't have them anymore, but I took a Cabbage Patch doll, some clay, and bored into the drill. Did all this stuff.
You made a Chucky?
I made one, and then I did all this stuff like taking the camera and whacking a hammer towards it. I had to cut in camera, which is insane to think about now.
That was fun,
And it was stuff like this, to where I was always the guy saying to my friends, like, we should go and just make something like this. We should go do something. Yeah, but again,
go to the woods, get lost, make something crazy.
So, where I live, it was the backyard could have been this place, it was like back then. But the thing I kept thinking about is, if you give me, and I've heard all of the arguments and things like that, but it's like, the average phone has better resolution than what Rodriguez had for El Mariachi. So it's
Right.
like, and I've shot stuff, as you know, I've shot stuff on a phone and done some edits and things like that. But it's that's not what it's about. I see a lot of horror films being done on YouTube, and they're very much The Ring. They're very much, the overly pristine, Paranormal Activity-ish kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
the
sleek.
kind of
They went for a sleek.
they're slick. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like very Final Cut Pro, not against Final Cut Pro, much love Final Cut Pro, but they're very
It's a choice.
After Effects-y. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Oh, I do. They're very gray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know those. I know that look. Everything's blue.
Yeah,
and gray.
and it's, you look at this stuff and you just go, there's, how do I word this? There's not an old Victorian sofa in an Evil Dead horror movie. There's a Barca-lounger. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just
like when you watch, like, for instance, like a recent horror movie like Bird Box, everyone's fit and wearing designer clothes that fits their bodies perfectly, and they're standing around on West Elm furniture going, what do we do? Okay. But that's not the grit of Evil Dead. That's not the guerrilla filmmaking. That's not the grit of like this, the horror of it. Yeah, it's very different styles. And to be frank, I hate that contemporary style because we lose the horror so much. We lose the messiness of it all. Everything's so clean and organized and well designed. Like, no. That's why the cabin's perfect, because it's just like it is exactly what you expect. It's just old, there's chains, it's rusty. There's a chair here or there. That's it.
to our Comicsgate gals, of whom there are many Comicsgate gals, I want to say this right here is what we're looking for in someone we want to hang out with. Do you know what I mean? The actress who can be silly, and because this is the stuff that we do. You know what I mean? We do this stuff all the time.
We don't do that. Oh, yeah,
I do. What do I do? I do the I always do the lip pop, and
you like the guy with the teeth.
Yeah, I do that stuff, and then I also get to do the I love but it's so funny because you see these people, and it's like and we all love this. Is that her real face for real? Yes, Angela. That is her just being silly.
No makeup on this one.
No makeup on this one. But
I can see the predator purr.
These are the folks. This is the director, and this is one of the actors going to set. It's a bunch of people, and this is what I love, guys. That is not some extraordinarily expensive prop. That is something you could do
with clay.
With clay and some basic texture, and put this stuff together. And when people like one of my favorite qualities of my wife, dare I say, is that she can do the Elvis sneer to a Tex Avery cartoonish level. I don't know what allows that. It doesn't even look like the same person. But but it's like, oh, dude, you don't even know. Like one corner just,
and then it goes all the way up.
And I love that about her. And I think that there's something about people who are funny and playful and charming, and everybody in this flick, whether it's Bruce Campbell or it's the actresses in this, everybody brought something great to it. And I think that's why that people love them when they see them at conventions so much, because they're so down to earth and real. They'll take pictures with you, they'll talk about the stuff, and
of course,
and that's the stuff that we love. So when you get to this, that's the other thing too. People seem like they've got this and it's weird because I don't think the two are connected, but it's almost like they cast avatars of young 20-somethings. So everybody is kind of like
Archetypes?
a similar look. It's just like, or stereotypes maybe is more what I mean. Like they're you get what I mean? Like these guys are like, presumably the same. Hey, what's up, OC Steve? Great to see you. Jeremy Burtz, what's up? And no, that wasn't the Predator. That was just an actress having fun behind the scenes, right? But you get to this and him throwing the locket. To me, like, how do I word this? If I could, there are certain images I see that make me think of artist friends of mine. This makes me think of you, man. The idea of using the locket for your gal who's you've had to slay that's
the writer moment of this whole series. Like, it's like,
that's right, man.
That's where they're like, the writer comes in and went, and he uses the locket. Suck that, Hollywood. Yeah, metaphor.
It's the stuff, man. It's the stuff. And but I love how real that
made it
looks.
better. It made it better. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
What
that
a
book
great-
looks like it's made of skin.
It does, like it's been on fire a little bit. It's very Leatherfacey. It
It's
looks like, you know what it looks like? Skin on pork when you get like a big piece of pork somewhere, like at the end of medieval fair. It's coming peeling right off. It's creepy.
Oh, he's like at the medieval fair, and I go, Ron, have you been to a Renaissance fair? I have a feeling perhaps you have.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Yeah, man. I grew up going to those. I used to fight medieval style, like with the foam weapons and shit. Total nerd.
We definitely need to do a Shanth interview with you, man, to talk about terror and all this stuff, because that's the stuff I love to learn about people, because there's, how do I word this? You know, it's like when Eric was telling me about how he made his first comic books by cutting up other comic books and arranging panels to write. I went, that's the most insanely cool thing I've ever heard.
Doesn't that sound like something like William S. Burroughs would do, or like Andy Warhol?
Yeah,
really cool.
There's this wild genius to that. And then when you see how well he draws and paints now, I go, how much stuff is going on in your head? You know, like Sherlock Holmes, you know, or like, you know, Beautiful Mind level stuff.
Yeah, it only gets better. It's great.
Man.
You know, I'm in the spirit of like making your own stuff and not giving a shit and just doing it. Like, I kind of want to draw, even though it will not be pro, but it will be like a guy jamming in a garage, guitar and grungy. I want to make my own little comic. I've really been wanting to lately, feeling it. Drawing a lot of character designs, making a lot of stories, thinking, why don't I just do it? Why don't I just do it myself? I love film. I love filmmaking, and yet I couldn't do it because there's too many other people to depend on. Yeah. And a lot of my filmmaking experience, unfortunately, was either people taking my work and changing it into something completely different and not having any respect, or they were telling me, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. And there's so many conflicts. And I feel like when you watch Evil Dead, it's like Sam Raimi found the right people who say, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we'll make it happen. Like he must have found some of the most amazing upcoming talented people to make this, because they did great stuff. And of course he was there helping, you know. It was very small team. But yeah, man, I want to make grungy, awesome stuff and just do it and not worry about it. I think there's fun in flawed art, and there's learning, you know.
Yeah, if someone is going to make the case to me that, it's one of those comics that I would say on a deserted island I'd want to have. But if someone wants to make the argument that, you know, that first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is some anatomical or rendering or value-based thing, it's, you know, like, and try to describe it in terms of just the pure drawing, but it's got soul and it's got guts to it, and it's real, and you can't buy that. You just can't buy it. It's a masterpiece.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
You're right.
When a kid sees it, your brain explodes with how cool it is. We can't explain it. It just is. The first time I saw them, I'll never forget it. I instantly loved them. Like, it was so weird, but it's just like, that's what happens with the Ninja Turtles, at least. Yeah.
And it's the thing too, you know, like, and I'm not trying to segue in this. This just popped into my head, but the thing I often think about is, you know, the idea of at some point, because everybody tries this, and I know we joke about like how certain groups of people are obsessed with this particular type of project, but I do love the idea of, you know, like short horror anthology stories, like something that's like really creepy and cool. I don't know if it can be done well. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it can be done well from like creepy and eerie and all those,
right? You know, the thing to remember, anthologies can be done well and they're wonderful. When it comes to crowdfunding, it could be an uphill battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be really tough. So it's something to think about. I agree with you though, that I love the idea of a good, solid horror anthology with some of the best Comicsgate people working on it. I wrote a short horror thing recently that's really freaky and badass, so I want to do something with it.
Yeah, we gotta we'll talk off air, man, and have to talk about stuff, because that's the stuff that, you know, for me, like when I'm doing the creepy stuff that I love, and I swear, guys, I don't know about you guys, I'm getting so much of my entertainment from YouTube right now, just looking at people who are into horror and deep diving into it, or into, you know, creature makeup and creature effects. There's such great stuff, you know. The stream of horror, future projects. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sycophants are the worst, but talented, willing people are priceless. Yeah, what was that? That quote is oh man, you don't need to you don't need to have a group of people. It's not about having a group of certain kinds of friends around you. I forget what it was. It's about having friends around you can be certain of. And I loved that quote. And I think that it's that thing I think about a lot, which is the people, like Ethan used that a lot, and I think about it a lot. The people I want to have around me are ride or die. You know what I mean? Like they get what we're doing here, because I'm ride or die with this work and these projects. I know you are, without a doubt. You know, I've been around. I mean,
I was thinking about that today. Yeah. I was like, man, I was there for kind of the beginning of Diversity in Comics doing his channel. And then like when Ethan started, and Ethan was dreaming late night streams of only 30 people of like, maybe I'll do Cyber Frog Blood Honey, you know? And I was going, yeah, do it. Like I was there. Yeah.
Yes. No, dude. Yeah. I mean, that book, like I wasn't watching Diversity in Comics until I got introduced to it via Ethan. So that was where I really, first got introduced to it. But when all that stuff was going down, I was like, and by the way, thank you, Jeremy Lord Crackhead 33. I tip my hat to you for dropping, links in the chat here. We love it, man. Yeah, Vaughn is an OG. Yeah, absolutely. That's the craziest thing about it too, because I remember hearing about Monster MD, and I just think, oh my gosh, yeah. I was talking about this the other day. That is one of those things that, who was I talking with? I think I was talking with Gabe about this. I go, everything that we do, I've been on YouTube now for 3 years, and I know when I look back 3 years from now, it's going to be different, But I look at Ethan, the changes, and I don't mean just my fat face, other things can also change, but it's
losing hair.
Exactly, that's right. The slow inflation.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, he was quiet. He was whispering, talking about things, and he was starting to push back. And I remember certain streams where he got pushed so far that he was like, screw this. And he just is a totally like this, whatever crucible, whatever you want to call it, that we're in, where we're doing this work. It's like you find that you've got strength and creativity that you did not know you had, because you're trying to make it work. And you go back to when did you launch Monster MD? Like that had to have been in the first batch of CG book, because I remember
a lot of people. I was trying to be the first, but I wasn't. A lot of people said I was second wave or whatever back then. I don't know if anyone could refer to it as that now.
Yeah, it's considered probably first wave now.
A lot of, because first wave was like your Jawbreakers and your and Graveyard Shift and Cyber Frog and all these great like times, and then my wave came in with some other big names. So about second wave, man, we got it in. It must have been 2018 or so. Holy shit. I've been working on that book since like 2009 I had the idea, and then 2014 I started making the first version of it. and then in 2020 I'm like finally handing people this real book.
I mean, you found your artist, and you guys have been making amazing stuff together. Monica. And it's weird because you and Narwhal were contemporaries too, as well, right? Like that's
we came up together.
So you guys came up together. So that's kind of I mean, for me, I will tell you awesome. This is that and this is what I was saying to Eric. I'll say to anybody. I believe the potential for all of these books to continue growing is beyond what we as creators can imagine, because as I've often said, I just found out about you with Terror in the Trenches, and I've been in CG that whole time. There's so many different things that are always going on that you can miss a book, you can miss a campaign.
I'm trying to keep up and I can't. For real.
Crazy. And so if I can discover all these books now, I must be one of many people who are about to discover it. I mean, that's what it comes down to,
And how do you do that? You got to shake it up and get people talking, man.
You do. You got to get people talking, and you've got to bring all this stuff. We were talking about this last show, but I think the CG team before the last had 1,100 views. I think it's Mad Dog time, as they say. It's crazy.
I love it.
I look at this stuff. Yeah, Vaughn's artist is stellar. Yeah, I will say this. Yeah, you guys, Monica's amazing. Yeah, do you have any cool art you can share on your computer? We can call up. I mean, something that's, you know, you're not going to reveal anything.
Yeah. Let me see. New colors came in, and the last of the inks came in. And they look pretty baller.
And everybody hit like and make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're not. Because we want to do more of these and talk more horror with you guys, and it's great. And thank you everybody for the super chats too as well. It's never lost on us.
All right.
I'm sure I don't have any other ones I missed. Good. All right. Good. Just checking. Oh wow, dude. Hopefully there'll be no spoilers here, you know. But if there are, I'll survive. Get more views.
Nah, not, it's just a little scene. Not too many big spoilers.
Oh, guys. People of Comicsgate. Dude.
Black Terror has been, even though he's super durable, he went up against some guys that had some gear he's never seen before, and they penetrated him with this needle that injected him with something he doesn't know what the hell. And it's fucking him up. It's messing him up. Lady Satan has just owned this soldier, and he's like, I'm going to need you to pull out the poison. She's like, you'd be surprised how often I do this with my magic. He's like, no, I wouldn't. And she starts pulling the infected blood out of him, trying to help him not lose his powers as fast, because it's soaking away his powers, man. And then she's all like, ooh, look what I could do with this blood. I could lick it. And then she splatters it. She's like, everyone thinks because I'm Lady Satan, you know, that I'm some bloodthirsty monster. Not the case. She's like, I'm more of a bloodletting monster. So and then he basically reveals, like, I recognize this knife. I've seen it before. These people, this is personal. These people came here for me. They blew this up for me, trying to get me. And Lady Satan is kind of like, hey. He asked if she wants to like roll together, and she's like, nope, not how I do it. I'm a solo artist, and it's personal for you, so they're going to use that and probably mess you up, and I'm not going to be there for that. See ya. She's very much got her guard up as a character throughout the story, and we'll see what happens with that. And and then we'll end on,
man, dude. It's you know, gold, Jerry, gold. Like, dude, I'm telling you what, it's like right now, and I'm not trying to make you guys compete for my affection, because I have a lot of love to give to everyone, by the way. But the concepts that I'm seeing out of you and I'm seeing out of Phil Diaz right now are so interesting to me in this very particular way. I think because you guys both love pulp, but when I saw that, what is your YouTube channel, Vaughn's Haunted Castle? Holy cow, man. Come on. That's awesome.
I'm gonna make that thing real. Stop.
No, but do you make
messed up? Huh?
Do you do a lot of streams on your channel? Do you do any streams?
No, I don't do my channel at all. And every time I try to, I get frustrated and quit really quick. I plan to. I do.
I know. This is the thing, man. If you ever need a wingman, no, you let me know.
Dude, are you kidding
but
me?
Also,
perfect. There's a few,
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, we will do it over here, and we'll do a show here and talk about all this stuff, because, dude, I have been, blood. Look at this. Stephen Rockwood, this is what he appreciates the most in the work. This is what he needs. He needs the blood. And he always tells me that whenever I'm painting, he's like, show me more blood, Shanth. Where is it? You know?
Yeah. That's why I got into comics, man. It was like the blood. Show me the blood. Where's the blood? That's why I came into as an 8-year-old boy. I was like, violent comics. Well, it wasn't about just blood. It's not just blood for blood's sake. It's when you're younger, you want to be treated like, you know, you're an adult who can handle stuff. So, you know,
man.
Feels cooler to get those adult comics with the real things that matter, you know?
Well, you know, that's the thing that's sort of funny about it, right? They talk about this stuff as adult comics, but I can say without a doubt, this is the stuff I wanted when I was a teenager. I think this is the stuff that's right past what you think, you know, you're allowed to see. And that's the thing for me. Like when I'm doing the various stuff with this is, you know, we talk about how Evil Dead affects us and all these things affect us. For me, when I had this giant sort of snake attack of Laurel, and he was going to wrap around and drag her back to the vampire castle, I was like, this is a dang comic book. That snake is going to swallow her whole. And
hell yeah, it is.
I know he should swallow her head first, but that's not a good visual. I need
it's not as dramatic.
This is my E.T.
The
riding the bike.
Dun, 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 swallowing a skink.
Exactly, right? I need that. I need that pulp.
I love
Yeah,
it,
man.
And that's the beauty of comics is it's that medium itself reminds you, hey, it's comics. You can go bigger. You could go crazy.
You can go bigger.
Do it.
You can. This is the
People love
bookmark
it.
that I'm
When
working
I
on.
was making stories throughout my life, I won awards and stuff growing up as a kid, or our little art
Heck
contest. But there was one thing that always happened. There would always be someone who'd be like, "Your stuff's too cheesy. Your stuff's too and like I take it to comics, and everyone goes, "Bring it, bring it." It's awesome. It's awesome. It's my stuff wasn't cheesy. They just didn't understand. You know, it wasn't. They didn't like my style. That's fine. But like there's something that people keep saying to me, Shanth, lately that I've noticed. They say your work, Vaughn. It's like so funny because you play it straight. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I never thought of like, oh, I'm going to play this straight. And I guess they're right. Because like in the 80s, no matter how ridiculous it got, they always played the movies straight. And I guess that's where I get that from. You know what I mean? Other people expect me to like make it funny, but it's like, well, then nothing matters. It's not as cool. It's not as interesting. It's not as hard hitting anymore if it doesn't matter, you know? But anyway, yeah, people are always saying that to me lately. They're like, oh, Vaughn, you always play it straight. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Dude, it's like that's the whole thing where it's like I don't know
what's that about?
How to not be real with people and real about this stuff. This stuff means something to me. Do you know what I mean?
Right? I mean, it
should. It's like I remember when
into it, even if we're not realizing it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, oh, yeah, Shanth, when will those pieces be on your campaign? So I'm going to give you guys ample time before I put the bookmark originals and then the 2 trading card originals up. Those are going to be the 3 originals from this campaign that I'm going to sell. Because I wanted to make sure there was some art, you know, from the actual project itself up there for you guys to get. So I will definitely let you guys know.
I paid a little like a little sketch for me or something. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Oh, those things, everything I do, it's like, you guys know it's gonna be they'll be wheeling me out, you know. Like, it's you know, but I sit around and I'm drawing. You know this, man. It's like I sit around and I'm drawing and I'm like I was talking to my wife today and I'm like going, and she's gonna be wearing a nightgown in the finish, just to be clear. But I'm sitting here working and I'm like, there's my gal talking to the werewolf there, you know, before we get to this panel right there. And I'm just like going, I've got to paint the perfect werewolf. I've got to paint the perfect, you know, small of the back. I've got to make this what I love.
Your version.
Horror, you know, and I got to move that because people can't be seeing that.
Yeah. I enjoyed what I saw.
I'll show it to you afterwards, man.
Taste. I love your American Werewolf in London, man.
Oh, dude, that is my influence.
You're completely bringing it in beautifully. It works perfectly with this too. It's just
Rick Baker, man. Another one of my heroes. You know, just a really great, you know, great dude.
When I follow him on Instagram, it depresses me because he always does so much with every day of his and he makes so many amazing things nonstop to this day. He's amazing. I can't believe he does it.
Two great quotes here for questions or statements for you. Yeah, people overuse the term taking itself too seriously. There's nothing wrong for a creative out there. For a creative out there story to be genuine and try to connect with an audience. And then, of course, Antoine Dennison says, good point, Vaughn. Today's creators want the creation to think the circumstances, are cheesy. If characters in a book movie think it's a shtick, that's dumb. I think it lets the air out of the situation. You know, it's the air out of the balloon. You get the in this movie, in Evil Dead, you feel like these people, they're going on a trip and they're having natural reactions to some absolutely what is that line from Big Trouble in Little China? I'm a reasonable guy. I've just seen some very unreasonable things. And that's what it is, man. Yeah, Teflon Ron. Always, you know, he's concerned about the big things there, you know. Yeah, American Werewolf in London was one of my inspirations to travel to Europe. Well, that's one for you. But beware the moors. You know, stick on the path.
Beware the moon. Stay off.
Beware the moon. Yeah, it's such great stuff. Everyone is Alan Moore, but nobody is Alan Moore. Agreed. Yeah. And link there. Thank you, Stephen Rockwood. Yeah, I mean, for me, man, I am so grateful that, you know, we're doing this and to have met you, man, because it's like, what did Michael Bancroft said to me? He goes, you know, one of the best things about, you know, when he was on CG Team, he was telling me was getting to be there for when you and I met. He said he was waiting for that. And I just cracked up. I was like going, yeah, I get it, man. It was great for me too, man. But the self-parody, this is the thing about it, right? It's planting your feet in the ground and looking a lady in the eye and saying, I love you, you and I are a thing, whatever it is, or planting your feet in the ground and saying, you may kick the shit out of me, but we're having a fight now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what's happening. Like, you ain't doing that. And go ahead.
It's not about, like, people don't understand the beauty of your ideas until you really show them. So sometimes they will hear it and go, that's cheesy. Or other people will treat comics like it's not a serious thing because it's comics. They don't realize, man, like, this is, the more serious you treat it, the more engaged someone's going to get. The more, even if it sucks or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I like that. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, plant your feet and tell it the way you want to tell it. You live for only a brief instant in the history of this planet, man. So get it out. Let yourself fuck up. Let yourself be messy. Let yourself make a mess. But at least do something. Evil Dead's a good reminder for that, man. For real. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. It is, man. It's taking your shot, and this is Comicsgate is a place where, you have, not only do you have the ability to make this kind of work, it's kind of, you are told that make something bold. Our audience here, you guys all know this because you guys are the audience. You guys in the chat know this. What I'm doing, doing traditional media work and painting this stuff is insane, but it's, you guys are like, go insane. Make something crazy. Make these visuals go. And Terror in the Trenches, Monster MD, and everything. If someone drives by in a motorcycle, good on you.
I have straight up motorcycle races right next to my neighborhood on the straightaway. Just every night, like, they're killing each other. It's crazy.
Be a beautiful mess. Indeed. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I do think it's the case where, I had some students say to me one time when I was in college, they said, you met your wife in college? I said, yeah, I met my wife in college. And they said, how'd you do that? And I go, well, I started in elementary school asking girls out, and they would say no. And I just played the numbers.
I just kept going.
You just kept going. What is it? Churchill
By the time you get to college, you're numb. You don't even care if they reject you.
You're just kind of like, let's do this thing. And comics submissions, starting at age 11, rejection letter.
Hell yeah. Get your balls punched.
You learn that you love comics. You aren't
because
doing
you keep subjecting yourself to the pain.
Yeah. That's it. It's when we go to the board, when we write this stuff, we feel it. And when we launch these campaigns, guys, when I was looking at Terror in the Trenches, and I think that is, the words fail me when I want to describe how important that book is and how beautiful that book is, because it's doing a couple of things. It is reclaiming, honoring, and reinvigorating the legacy of a character that's in the public domain that, to me, just pisses all over what people do with properties they own the copyright to that are legacy characters. I mean, it is like seeing it for the first time, but it is so true to like what the potential is for it. And it's incredible, and it's all you. It's straight Vaughn. Like, you see that, you just go,
it is. You're right. Dude. It is, but it's also Black Terror. Like, he needed to come out and play for real, I felt like.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
What to do with his character. Yeah, so.
But you planted your feet in the ground, and you asked Black Terror out on a date. You said, baby, you and me are going places. Like, and then with Monster MD is, I feel like Monster MD is your Evil Dead 2 or something. I don't know how to describe it. Do you know what I mean? It's like your Seven Samurai, man. It's got that moment.
It's definitely like, it's intimidating to even think about writing another one, but I already have. Like, I have some great ideas. But it is intimidating as opposed to other things that are just more fun, because it has grown into its own, like, beloved, fun, awesome thing. So it's kind of a flagship, if you will, for now.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's intimidating, and it would be great if you could stop, but you can't, right? Can't stop.
No, not when you're addicted. No.
Yeah. I'm kind of like going, I can't draw today as I sit at my desk. Like it's drawing. Like, I'm gonna draw. It's what it is. Yeah, that constant rejection either makes it super.
It's weird how the best artists are also the most obsessive artists.
Yeah.
So it's tough because you're OCD about everything, but it's good to be obsessed. You're hypnotizing yourself into getting better and better and better because of that focus. You'll notice that what you're doing, you'll notice how to do things better, faster, and how to do it your way and how to, the way you like it. And that's just beautiful, man. It's a lot of work. But once you get there, you make things like Shanth does and make beautiful pages that, belong in museums. It belongs in a museum.
I want to, I have many a goal. One of my goals is because you've seen the crazy stuff I do. Guys, one of the things I want to do before we wrap up, and then I want to talk to Vaughn after the show for sure and catch up. But I got to show you guys. You guys know my madness. Let me see if I have this down here somewhere. But when I do this stuff, let me see. I may have to save this. Let me see if I have it. I don't have it in here. I'll have to show it. Oh, actually, you know what? Here we go. So when Lord Crackhead 33 hit 1,000 subscribers, I of course. Art is an outlet of need for expression. It is necessary. Amen. It's true. Shanth is kind of mental. Right. That's absolutely true. But when people have breakthroughs, I got to
on the street.
What is up, everybody? Wow. I'm really looking forward to
banging 7-gram rocks.
Quote on the street.
Banging 7-gram rocks.
Wow.
That's how I roll.
I'm really looking forward to
banging 7-gram rocks.
Yeah, that's going back. That's going back to the beginning of the crack pack. What is up, everybody?
Banging 7-gram rocks.
I am all caught up just about. I'm out here every day. Wow. It is thick and it is wild.
Quote on the street.
Banging 7-gram rocks.
Quote on the street.
So yeah, that's my shout out for Jeremy. And this is the thing about it, right? Is that when I see this stuff and when I see the stuff that you're working on and the stuff you're doing, I'm just like going, I've got an intro video for Vaughn's Haunted Castle. I've got all these constant ideas in my head, absolutely. The people who inspire me and are doing interesting work, I'm always like, we got to do more. We got to do more.
You bounce off us.
Yeah, man.
I'm so glad you're here.
Dude, listen, man. I love it, It's 317. There you go. I'm wondering, 317. What is everybody saying here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got you. Let me see. Too bad I didn't have
my wall.
On my wall. Yeah, we're having some great fun, guys. And we're going to do more of this stuff. Yeah, we're going to have a great time doing it here. And like I said, I mean, when I see people talking about horror, talking about all the stuff they're passionate about, I want to just make sure that we're making this fun for you guys so that you guys, when you're backing these books and you send those super chats in and you're doing everything you've been doing to keep, us able to do what we do. You are, according to Hoyle, patrons and backers. We appreciate it. We're going to make sure that we do the best stuff for you guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to be doing this again, and we'll figure out what that movie's going to be, and I'll let you guys know ahead of time. There's much to do. Vaughn, thank you so much for pitching this idea and making this stuff. Yeah,
appreciate
dude,
for having me. Thanks, man.
We it's so great, man. We should have been doing this sooner, but we hadn't met. That's right. There were no boobs on this stream. I know. I apologize. Look, I'll catch you guys for an art stream later. I promise. Maroni, tip of the hat to you guys. All right, guys. I'm going to play us out with our song, and then we will catch up. And thank you, Angela Curry and Micah and everybody. We love you guys. All right, take care, guys, and we will see you soon.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
Not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain
to smoke crack.
No gun, huh?
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.